Netflix addresses Stranger Things' secret episode theory after finale, and what was supposed to be a definitive goodbye to one of the most influential television series of the modern era instead exploded into one of the most intense, emotional, and chaotic fandom moments the internet has witnessed in years. The instant the final episode faded to black, viewers across the globe sat in silence, some crying, some stunned, and many deeply unsettled by a single thought they couldn't shake. This can't really be the end. Within hours, social media lit up with confusion and disbelief, and by the next day, that confusion had transformed into a full-blown conspiracy theory that consumed platforms, communities, and millions of fans who simply weren't ready to let go. Stranger Things didn't just conclude a storyline, it closed a chapter of pop culture history. For nearly a decade, audiences grew up alongside the kids of Hawkins. They watched them ride bikes through quiet streets, face unspeakable horrors, lose childhood innocence, form unbreakable friendships, fall in love, experience grief, and carry trauma that felt startlingly real for a show about monsters and alternate dimensions. The series became more than entertainment. It became ritual viewing, comfort television, and a shared emotional language for an entire generation. So when the final season promised answers, closure, and consequences, expectations were sky high. When the finale finally arrived, it didn't deliver the explosive chaos many expected. Instead, it leaned into something softer, heavier, and more reflective. It focused on aftermath rather than shock, healing rather than spectacle. For some fans, it was beautiful. For others, it felt suspicious. There was no massive last-second twist, no shocking reveal that recontextualized everything, no cliffhangers screaming for continuation. For a show that built its reputation on surprises and dramatic turns, that absence felt intentional, almost too intentional. And that feeling is where everything began to unravel. Almost immediately, one question echoed across the internet. Is that really it? That single question became the spark that ignited countless theories, but none took hold like the idea that Netflix and the creators had secretly filmed an additional episode, a hidden final chapter, a true ending waiting to be revealed. Fans began to believe that what they saw wasn't the real conclusion, but a carefully crafted illusion. Some called it a secret episode. Others framed it as a deliberate deception embedded within the story itself. Online detectives went to work. Every frame of the finale was dissected. The pacing felt slower than expected, which some argued was intentional misdirection. Certain character arcs felt unresolved to viewers who expected more dramatic conclusions. Lines of dialogue were replayed again and again, with fans insisting the wording was oddly vague or deliberately open-ended. Background visuals were scrutinized with forensic intensity. Repeated imagery, mirrored shots, lingering camera movements, and even lighting choices were cited as proof that something had been hidden in plain sight. What would normally be dismissed as overthinking gained traction because Stranger Things earned that level of analysis. This was a show that rewarded attention to detail, that planted clues seasons in advance, that encouraged fans to look deeper. The fandom had been trained to believe nothing was accidental, so when people started connecting dots, others listened. TikTok quickly became the epicenter of the theory's explosion. Creators uploaded dramatic videos breaking down the finale scene by scene, complete with ominous music and bold captions declaring that the real ending hadn't aired yet. One viral clip argued that the final episode's title itself was a misdirection. Another suggested that Will Byers' subdued emotional state was evidence his true resolution was being withheld. Others focused on 11, claiming her ending lacked the definitive triumph arc the series had always promised her. Soon, Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube were flooded with speculation. Massive threads appeared compiling evidence. Fans created timelines comparing previous season finales to the series' ending, arguing that Stranger Things had never ended without a jaw-dropping moment, so why start now? Charts were shared, theories were refined, counter-arguments were debated. The sheer volume of conviction was overwhelming. Even viewers who initially felt satisfied began to question themselves. As belief grew, anticipation followed. A specific date began circulating as the moment everything would be revealed. Fans claimed Netflix would drop the secret episode without warning, shocking the world and cementing Stranger Things as one of the boldest television experiences ever created. On that day, millions logged into Netflix simultaneously. People refreshed the Stranger Things page obsessively. Some stayed awake all night, convinced they were about to witness history. And then, nothing. No surprise drop, no announcement, no teaser. Just silence. Instead of killing the theory, that silence poured gasoline on it. Fans argued that Netflix was staying quiet to preserve the surprise. Others claimed internal delays were part of the plan. Some accused Netflix of intentionally allowing the theory to spread because of the massive engagement it generated. Petitions demanding the real ending began circulating. Comment sections filled with raw emotion: anger, denial, hope, heartbreak. Fans openly admitted they were grieving and needed more time with these characters. At the core of the chaos was something profoundly human. Stranger Things wasn't just a show people watched, it was something they lived with. It arrived during uncertain times, became a shared escape, and followed viewers through different stages of their lives. Letting it go felt like saying goodbye to a version of themselves. The secret episode theory wasn't just about more content, it was about delaying loss. Eventually, Netflix stepped in. Instead of confronting the fandom with a dramatic statement, Netflix chose a quiet but definitive approach. Official profiles were updated with messaging confirming that all episodes were now available to stream. Subtle confirmations followed, making it clear that the series had ended exactly as presented. There was no hidden episode, no alternate finale, no final twist waiting to emerge. The reaction was immediate and intense. Some fans felt embarrassed for believing the theory. Others felt angry, arguing that Netflix should have addressed the speculation sooner. Many admitted they clung to the theory because they simply weren't ready to say goodbye. At the same time, a large portion of viewers defended the finale passionately, praising its emotional maturity and restraint. They argued that not every story needs a shocking twist, and that Stranger Things earned the right to end quietly. Old interviews and farewell messages resurfaced, reinforcing the finality of the ending. The creators had spoken openly about wanting to end the show with intention, focusing on the humanity of the characters rather than spectacle. In hindsight, the signs were all along. Still, the scale of the conspiracy sparked a broader conversation about fandom in the modern era. Audiences today are conditioned to expect surprises, hidden content, and viral stunts. The idea of a secret episode didn't feel impossible, it felt plausible. And Stranger Things, with its layered storytelling and mystery-driven legacy, was the perfect breeding ground for that belief. Netflix eventually redirected attention toward the future rather than what never existed. Behind-the-scenes content, documentaries, and spin-offs were emphasized as ways to keep the universe alive without undoing the original ending. For many fans, that shift helped transform grief into curiosity. The secret episode theory, now debunked, remains one of the most fascinating moments in modern pop culture. It revealed how deeply people connect to stories, how collective imagination can turn speculation into belief, and how endings can be harder to accept than any cliffhanger. Stranger Things didn't fail its audience. It asked them to let go. As fans continue to rewatch the series, debate its conclusion, and share memories, the legacy of Stranger Things remains powerful. The monsters may be gone, the gates may be closed, but the emotional impact of Hawkins will last for years. And maybe that's the real twist. Not a secret episode, not a hidden finale, but the realization that some stories don't need to continue to stay alive. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.